49ers travel to Buffalo and play the Bills. Bills are that team. They had a statement win in Week 11 against the Chiefs, where Josh Allen, really kind of proved to the world that he is it. He's that dude. He doesn't need a bunch of playmakers. They've battled injuries in the wide receiver corps. Amari Cooper was limited. They were without Dalton Kincaid. Josh Allen can do it all. They host the 49ers, who just got gutted, absolutely rinsed by the Packers. Now, they were without Brock Purdy, and we anticipate Brock Purdy being back, so that definitely changes things a little bit here. But nonetheless, Bills are 7-point home favorites against a 49ers team that is really just a shell of themselves of what they've been for the past few years, both offensively and defensively. So pretty interesting development that we've seen. The 49ers, they have their playmakers back. They aren't clicking right now. So hopefully getting Brock Purdy back can elevate this offense once again. But Beach, before I get into any of the numbers or anything, we're both kind of in the same boat here. We have the 49ers to cover and the Bills to win. And now a lot of people, some recency bias make it in here on the Bills heavy. It's looking like the money is showing that. Also, our model is showing about a 6-point differential. So right in the range of what we think at 24.5 to 18.5. Bills winning, obviously. So before we get into any of the numbers, did this 7-point spread surprise you as much as it surprised me?
Yeah, honestly, it did. I know we've been, talking about it for like the last 3 weeks, it seems like, where like we'll be right eventually, 49ers will get back to it. I
Yeah.
mean, this is the same, it's literally the exact same team as last year. And
Right.
so it just looks like a completely different team. But yeah, the spread did surprise me. The NFL, it's a lot closer than college. If you're going to compare them, and to have a 49ers team be a 7-point underdog is pretty big. So it
Yeah.
definitely surprised me.
Yeah, same here. And I get it. They just got the brakes beat off of them in Lambeau. But at the same time, if you look at some of these numbers too, they're not a bad team. And we mentioned this on the last show too. The 49ers offensively, with the exception of last week's game and Brandon Allen at quarterback, they're one of the best teams between the 20s. They haven't capitalized. They've had just bad happenstances. Their kicker seemingly will go streaks of just not being able to make a single field goal. So a lot of weirdness going on. If we look at their offense, they are still top 10 in EPA per play allowed and top 8 in success rate on the offensive side of the ball. Top 10 in EPA, top 10 in success rate, both at 6 and 8. So they have a very, very, very strong offense that consistently is efficient and successful both in the air, on the ground, but they haven't capitalized with points. And when they do, it seems like their defense just kind of gives it all up. If we look at their defense, they're 12th overall in EPA per play allowed, 17th overall in success rate. That's not what I would expect out of a 49ers team or defense that's playing like how they're playing. And so I'm kind of in awe of what's going on here because the numbers don't add up. Truthfully speaking, they're still a good team. I mean, obviously they're littered with talent, but there's just something similar to the Bears. Like there's an intangible factor going on with this team where I can't figure it out. But nonetheless, I do like him to cover the 7 points. I think that's a bit of a stretch. Now I could make the argument it isn't Buffalo. Buffalo is so strong. They're coming off the bye. But teams don't always perform as well out of a bye as you would expect. So with that being said, I think the 49ers kind of, had a gut punch last week. They got embarrassed. And so with being embarrassed, they may respond in a way where they're angry. They want to prove to the world that they can actually compete with the best. And so what not a better spot here than with the Bills? I think they can do it. I think they can cover. Now, I still think the Bills are going to win. Why do I think the Bills are going to win? Josh Allen. That's really it. You look at this
Superman.
offense and what he's been able to do. They're 5th overall in EPA per play on the offensive side of the ball, 13th overall in success rate. They're only 26th in the league in passing yards per game, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because Josh Allen does it with his arm, does it with his eggs. Same with James Cook. He's been cooking as well lately too. And they've been mixing in some of their backup running backs who've gotten some streaky runs as well, quietly rushing for 123 yards per game on the ground at Bills offense. Beach, their defense is also pretty strong too. Not as great as what we would expect in terms of EPA margin. They're 18th overall, but 8th overall in success rate allowed that Buffalo defense is. Now, they do like to funnel yards in the ground game, but they do that purposefully. I think they beg teams to run the ball, and then they just lock down the passing game. And so that might not be the best formula against a team who has Kyle Shanahan calling the plays, who draws up a better running game than almost anybody, and with Christian McCaffrey back and getting healthier and healthier. So this could be a big game for Christian McCaffrey. If they were to find a lot of success in the ground game, do you think that could maybe elevate, making a bull case for the 49ers, do you think they could elevate the 49ers against this Bills team? Or do you still like the game plan to funnel their offense via the run game, give up the rushing yards, but try and lock down the passing game?
I wouldn't give up the rushing yards if I was a coach, but I'm not a coach. So I wouldn't do that against Kyle Shanahan, because if you do that, you're going to have 250 yards rushed against you. Yeah. And what does that do? That opens up the passing game. Then it's all done from there. So I definitely would not do that if I was the Bills. But I think that the 49ers can be successful doing that. I do. And I if that's the way that the game plays out, then they cover the 7. Mm-hmm. And I also just want to point out, for the bull case for the 49ers, their division, they could still win their division.
Yeah.
One game back.
Yep.
Or is it a half? No, one game. One game
the
back.
Seahawks are now in the lead. And the Cardinals were up there, but now since they dropped that game to the Seahawks, it's now the Seahawks in full division. Yeah. But that put the Cardinals at 6-5, where the 49ers are at 5-6. And so
2 teams are 6-5, 2 are 5-6. Anybody could take it. So there's a lot to play for in this game. And the Bills coming off a bye, they beat the Chiefs, woohoo. I know that they've been thinking about this game. I mean, this last couple of years, this is a lot of people's prediction for Super Bowl matchup. And so that's how I expect it to be played. And I think that it'll be a really close game. And I think that 49ers will be able to come out of their shell a little bit.
Yeah. Now, again, I don't want to misconstrue anybody, because we still like the Bills to win this game. We do think the Bills are the better team right now. Just this year as a whole, their performance has shown that they're one of the best, if not the best team in the league. But we think we have their little bye week hangovers. And then we think they let the 49ers back into it a little bit. Now, making the bull case for the Bills, excuse me. They could come off the bye week and just absolutely shred a defense that's more vulnerable than they ever have been in recent memory. They do get guys like Dalton Kincaid back. Amari Cooper had a rest week to rest up his wrist. And Khalil Shakir, he got banged up a little bit. He had some time to rest. So they will have all their weapons. And so that's not a good sight for the 49ers. That's the bull case for the Bills. They have all of their guys healthy on both sides of the ball, after most of their guys healthy, let me say, on both sides of the ball. So if it were to get ugly, it's probably because they have all of their playmakers. They're strapped in and well prepared, ready to go. So it's going to be a fun one. Don't sleep on the 49ers.